Mamaroneck School District budget looks at a 5.3% tax hike.
Bomb scares at Murray Avenue School.
Larchmont man and apparent suicide on the Metro North tracks.
Another anti-Semitic graffiti incident in Mamaroneck.
The Mamaroneck resident and former New Rochelle policeman standing trial in White Plains.
Bonnie Briar owners still fight the town over building plans.
Save the sound. The call continues.
Guess who's got another plan for David's Island?
And some new wonder drugs to fight Lyme disease.
Those stories and more on this edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
Hello and welcome to Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News for the third week of April 1997. I'm Roger Norham.
And I'm Alicia Myro. Our top story.
The Mamaroneck School District budget gets a school board approval, and in a few weeks it goes before the voters. To support the budget, the property taxes in the districts would have to be hiked 5.3%. Details from Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Glenna Gray.
The Mamaroneck Board of Education voted unanimously to adopt a $53,333,000 budget. This budget calls for a 5.3% increase in taxes. This new rate will be represented at $339.36 per $1,000 of assessed property value. A home assessed at $15,000 would pay $5,090.40 in school taxes. The increase will be $256.20. The district expects over 100 new students to enter in September. By reassigning teachers from the high school to Homix Middle School, they will not find it necessary to hire new teachers. The number of students in the elementary schools will remain stable, while Homix Middle School will receive 80 new students. Copies of the budget will be available April 17th at all schools. Voting for the budget will take place Wednesday, May 7th, from 7 a.m. until 9 p.m. at the 4 elementary schools. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, this is Glenna Gray.
A bomb scare at the Murray Avenue Elementary School in Larchmont sent children home from school early on Monday, April 7th, and caused a 2-hour delay for classes on Tuesday, April 8th. The first scare was prompted by a call received by one of the school secretaries just 30 minutes before the school's 3 p.m. dismissal. Students and teachers were evacuated and then dismissed while police and firefighters closed off the surrounding area and began an intensive search. Nothing was found, but New York State Police flew in one of its bomb-sniffing dogs to repeat the search. No bomb was detected, and the following morning, the same secretary received another call saying there were 3 bombs in the school. The secretary believes it was the same man. The call came in at 7:51 a.m. before classes even started. Teachers and students that had already arrived were evacuated, and a telephone chain was used to alert the other school-age parents of a 2-hour delay. Again, no bomb was found. Classes are on again, and the investigation continues.
Here's a familiar name, David's Island, and a familiar Mamaroneck resident associated with building plans for it. Details from Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Catherine Kaywood.
The Castle Gallery at the College of New Rochelle received over 100 entries for their competition for the best use of David's Island. Over 50 of these entries are now on display at the Castle Gallery. Winners were from colleges in the United States and from Switzerland. One of the ideas submitted was to have David's Island converted into a golf course, and this certainly meets with the approval of our producer, Jeff Montanaro. Some of the other ideas submitted included an ink factory, an elevator research center, a fish hatchery, a monastery hotel, a city hall powered by windmill, a new headquarters for the UN, and so forth. Robert Funicello of Save David's Island for the Citizens still believes that the best use would be a county park with ferry service. The city of New Rochelle has prepared a waterfront plan and is currently waiting for state approval. This plan includes both public and private space, so during the fall, the city may once again solicit plans from developers. A Mamaroneck developer, Gord Marshall, has such a plan, but that will be another story. For Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News, this is Catherine Kaywood.
The Metro-North train tracks have claimed another life. 34-year-old Oliver Priceman, a research laboratory technician who lived at 5 Wood Street in Larchmont, jumped to his death on Sunday, April 6th at the Larchmont train station. Railroad spokeswoman Marjorie Anders is quoted in the Daily Times as saying at least 41 people have been killed on Metro-North trains since 1994, and most of those deaths have been suicides. Metro-North police do not yet know what led Priceman to jump. There was no note at the scene, so an investigation continues. The train's engineer, who was driving an empty train for a routine track and equipment check on the express track at 90 miles per hour, reported seeing a figure dressed in black leap in front of the train. The engineer did apply the emergency brakes, but could not stop in time. The incident was reported at 9 p.m. and did close the Larchmont train station for a brief period on Sunday night.
The state legislature is pressured by local officials to pass a bill that will provide payment in lieu of taxes for group homes. With more, here's Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News reporter Jenny Neumeister.
Mamaroneck's Mayor Joseph Lanza is joining with other elected officials to support a proposal that would ask group homes to make a payment to the village in lieu of paying taxes. Presently, there are several group homes in the Mamaroneck area, and they are tax exempt. While there has been some objection to group homes, the basic concern is that taxes are too high. We have to provide them services. And while the state has closed many of its facilities for the mentally disadvantaged, and by doing so has ended up with a windfall, the burden to support these group homes has in fact shifted to the community where the group home is located. Local officials hope that this year the state legislature will finally realize that their constituency is overburdened. Between school taxes, county, and local taxes, it's time for constructive and common sense legislation to benefit their communities. For Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News, this is Jenny Neumeister.
In the trial of Mamaroneck resident and former New Rochelle police officer Matthew McCarrick, a prosecutor charged McCarrick had lied to police officers, and that was tantamount to proof of involvement in a robbery and assault case a year ago in Mamaroneck Village. The trial is taking place in White Plains at the Westchester County Courthouse. McCarrick is accused, along with 2 others, of robbery, burglary, and assault, forcing their way into a basement apartment on Halstead Avenue, beating 3 people and stealing more than $500. Prosecutor Robert Neary said they plotted their getaway in McCarrick's car parked at Mamaroneck train station. But an alert Metro-North worker took down the license plate number of the getaway car, and it was traced to McCarrick. Neary said that when police traced the car to McCarrick, he told them a series of lies as to where he was at the time of the robbery assault. McCarrick's attorney said the former policeman had dishonored himself, but was not involved in plotting the crime. Alicia?
The Bonnie Breyer court case continues. Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News reporter Sven Ume has the update.
In a lawsuit before the Appellate Division of State Supreme Court concerning the rezoning of Bonnie Breyer Country Club, lawyers for the town of Mamaroneck have filed their latest arguments. As you may remember, a group of developers came up with the plan to build 71 homes along the golf links of Bonnie Breyer. Opposition to the project resulted in a rezoning decision by the Mamaroneck Town Board. Bonnie Breyer, Winged Foot, and parts of the Hampshire Country Club located in the town were classified as recreational zones, banning any other use of the land. The developers took the town to court, the court sided with the town, and now the developers filed an appeal. They argue that the town's zoning decision has infringed on their property rights. The town, on the other hand, argues that a zoning limiting the property use for recreational purposes is not unusual and definitely not in violation of the law. Among the arguments that the lawyers for the town have filed is the statement that property owners are not entitled to less restrictive zoning and have no right to any particular zoning classification. The lawyers for the town also argue that while establishing the new recreational zone may be unusual, it is within the powers of a municipality to do so.
Another incident of anti-Semitic graffiti reported in Mamaroneck, this time at Harper Island Park in the Harbor Masters building, across from the village senior citizen meeting house. The incident happened a couple Thursdays back. Some seniors reported the graffiti to the Recreation Department, and later then to village police. The graffiti was drawn in lipstick and nail polish on stall doors in the women's bathroom. Anyone with information concerning the incidents is urged to call Mamaroneck Village Police at 777-1122. That's 777-1122.
That call from the water continues. Save the sound. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Ginny Neumeister with the latest.
Last year's test results published by Save the Sound of Stamford showed the Long Island Sound to be healthier and more wildlife friendly than in the past years. This year, Save the Sound begins its 7th year of water quality testing, and they're looking for volunteers who want to take part in the Long Island Sound water quality testing program. If you do, you must attend the training sessions, and there are 3 of them, that begin on April 22nd at their headquarters in Stamford. For further information, call Steve Yurgo at 1-203-327-9786. The sessions are free, so registration is required, and the results might surprise you. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, this is Ginny Neumeister.
Lyme disease, it's the time of the year to take protective steps against it, and now it appears modern medicine has they found some new drugs to help battle Lyme disease. More from Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Catherine Kaywood.
By the end of this year, 2 pharmaceutical companies are expected to seek FDA approval for a Lyme disease vaccine. However, once the FDA applications are submitted, the approval could take as long as 12 to 18 months. And human tests for the vaccine began more than 4 years ago. SmithKline Beecham and Pasteur Marieux Conant have both had favorable clinical trials. What is involved is an initial vaccine followed by a second one a month later and a booster a year later. You may want to watch the LMC-TV schedule for Sound Health's 30-minute program devoted to Lyme disease. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, this is Catherine Kaywood.
Jamie Stein has been out and about in the streets of our area. Let's see her latest effort.
Yes, there is always room for improvement, but what about our town, Mamaroneck? I had a chance to find out from local residents if they could change one problem in Mamaroneck, what would it be? So let's hear our responses.
It's up a little bit.
There's
garbage everywhere, it seems like, every time you look. Especially back off of the main street, back.
And where's this, sir?
Over here, over there. Back around.
Main roads.
Back around Fenimore, and over near Palmer and stuff. It seems to be like stuff all over the streets.
Right now, bomb scare at the high school. That is the biggest scare right now. Petrified to send them to school. I don't know if it's really going to have a bomb there or not.
Mamaroneck High School?
Mamaroneck High School. 2 days in a row that they've been claiming bomb scares.
Paving, maybe?
Paving the street?
Roads, streets.
And what would that be?
It seems like there's a little more traffic problems in Mamaroneck. Parking is terrible around here, and it's getting a little bit crowded.
Okay.
Parking. There's never enough parking, and people are always double parked up and down the block. It takes forever to get through the downtown area, so we could definitely use more parking.
And we want to go to Sal's, but there's no place to park.
Problems, no problem.
No problem.
It's finding a way to stop the turnover of the stores. You know, it seems like some of them have a new owner, yeah. So, a little more economic stability.
Join me next time when we ask what the concerns are in Larchmont. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News on Mamaroneck Avenue, I'm Jamie Stein.
And that's it for this edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News for the 3rd week of April, 1997. In case you missed any portion of this news show, you can see it again.
This program is on Channel 14 LMC-TV, Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Also, you can call LMC-TV and ask to see the news show. The number to call is 698-6808 after 4 in the afternoon.
The crew at LMC-TV will do their best to put Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News on at a time that's convenient for you to watch. Remember, the number to call after 4 is 698-6808. Ask to see the news show.
And if you want to get involved, you can. We are all volunteers, and we can always use some help. We record on Thursday nights.
Stop by some Thursday night when we put this program together. We're at the LMC-TV studios in Mamaroneck High School on the Palmer Avenue side, just up the stairs from Walter's Hot Dog Stand.
And if you have any comments, suggestions, or local news items, send them to us at Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, 1 Library Lane, Mamaroneck, New York, 10543.
And thanks for watching Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Roger Norham.
And I'm Alicia Myro. Remember, Thursday night, May 1st, the LMC-TV Awards Night at the Emmeline Theater. And you're invited.
See you there. Larchmont Board approves a village budget, a tax hike of nearly 3.5%.
Rhinebeck School District Board approves its budget, increasing spending by more than 3%.
The Matthew McCarrick case jury finds the ex-cop guilty of assault and robbery.
Teen gets to study Holocaust for graffiti offense.
Larchmont firefighters burning mad.
And former area reporter and editor Ina Myers dies.
Those stories and more on this edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. Hello and welcome to the last full week of April edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News for 1997. I'm Roger Norham.
And I'm Alicia Myro. Our top story. The vote is in and Larchmont's 1997-98 budget has been approved. Property taxes will rise 3.48%, which equates to $181.40 per $1,000 of assessed property value. The board unanimously approved the $9,037,000 budget. Even village trustee Ken Bialo, who has voted against village budgets in the past when he thought they were out of line with local inflation, voted yes. The major spending increases include garbage disposal, health and retirement benefits, tax refunds, and debt service. The one item on the budget that seems to have created some controversy is an allocation of $75,000 for a new fire commissioner. Disagreements over the new position seem to have caused tension between paid and volunteer firemen and the board. We have more details surrounding the fire commissioner controversy later in this program. In the meantime, the village expects to bring in estimated revenues of $1.8 million, aside from property taxes. Last week, the village raised all of the building permit fees to capture an additional $5,000 in revenues. As long as we don't have a difficult winter this year, Larchmont's budget increase of $291,000 should cover all costs.
As the May 7th school district's voting day gets closer, Rhinebeck has to think more about just who to put on their Board of Education. The current board approved a $15.5 million spending plan, which is about $500,000 more than last year's budget, and reflects about a 3% spending increase by the district. It all translates to the following in Rhinebeck. For taxpayers in the town of Rye, it means a school tax bill hike of 4.48%. Those paying taxes in the city of Rye would see a 4.73% increase of their school tax bill. The budget would allow for the hiring of 5 new teachers in Rhinebeck and a teacher's aide. Also, a new school nurse would be hired, and that would mean each of the 3 Rhinebeck school buildings would have a full-time nurse during school hours. Rhinebeck is projecting a 1,251 student attendance next year in the school system. Alicia?
Well, this area's school board and budget elections are now just a matter of days away, and Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News reporter Ginny Neumeister says there are plenty of newcomers, especially in Rhinebeck. Current Rhinebeck Board President Alan Manacharian is running for another term on the school board, together with running mates Leonard Talevi and Jeannie Lightbody. According to a statement in the Daily Times, these 3 candidates say they are generally pleased with the district's progress, while Gloria Whites, Bob Kelly, and William Tuno are running separately and anxious for change. New to the mix of usual candidates for school boards is William Tuno, a sophomore at Manhattanville College in Purchase and a 1995 Rhinebeck graduate. He wants residents to take him seriously. Tuno feels he would like Rhinebeck to emphasize the diversity of ethnic and cultural groups beyond its borders and thoroughly teach students about the drawbacks of drugs and alcohol. An associate director of the National School Boards Association was quoted as saying that young board members seem to have a closer perspective on things that are going on at the school than those of us out of high school for a long time. Well, we'll see. School board elections are set for May 7th. For Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News, this is Jenny Neumeister.
Promotions for the volunteer fire department in the village of Mamaroneck. Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News reporter Catherine Kaywood has the details.
Congratulations are in order for Anthony Valentine, who's the new fire chief for the village of Mamaroneck. Valentine has been a volunteer firefighter for 17 years, and his father, Mike Valentine, served in the department before him. The new first chief is George Harrison, and the new second chief is Mike Pasquale. The new officers at Columbia Engine Hose Company 2 are Captain Tommy Tempesta, First Lieutenant Tommy Lupero, and Second Lieutenant Gary Gorski. At the Halstead Manor Engine Hose Company 4, the new officers are Captain Mike Copey, First Lieutenant Pat Tuno, and Second Lieutenant Chuck Tedesco. The new officers at Hook and Ladder Company 1 are Captain J. Marcus and First Lieutenant P. Primrose. At the Mamaroneck Engine Hose Company 1, the new officers are Captain Jason Stepine, First Lieutenant Mark Anaretti, and Second Lieutenant Vinnie Costa. At the Volunteer Engine Hose Company 3, the new officers are Captain Ted Hoch, First Lieutenant Jim Mallon, and Second Lieutenant Jarrett Winchester. Congratulations to all of you. For Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News, this is Catherine Kaywood.
27-year-old Matthew McCarrick is found guilty of assault and robbery, felonies stemming from a break-in at a Mamaroneck apartment a year ago. But the jury of 6 men and 6 women acquitted McCarrick of burglary charges. The jury deliberated 11 hours over 2 days last week to reach the verdict. Westchester County District Attorney Janine Pirro is quoted in the Daily Times saying, "It's always a sad day when someone in law enforcement ends up being convicted of a violent felony." She says the verdict makes it clear that no one is above the law. McCarrick, a Mamaroneck resident, was a New Rochelle police officer at the time of the Halstead Avenue break-in on April 3rd of last year. He had even been honored as an Officer of the Month. McCarrick resigned from the New Rochelle police force after his arrest. The judge ordered McCarrick held without bail in the county jail to await sentencing. McCarrick faces a possible term of 12.5 to 25 years in prison. Sentencing is scheduled for June 2nd.
As mentioned earlier, Larchmont Village approved a $75,000 allocation in its 1997-98 budget for a new fire commissioner. We have also mentioned in previous programs the ongoing battle between paid and volunteer firefighters and the village board in reference to hiring such a person. The firefighters seem to see the hiring of a commissioner as another layer of bureaucracy and argue instead for the hiring of a 14th paid firefighter to reduce the overtime cost that seems to make the firefighters' costs so high. The board is following the recommendation of a consultant they hired last year and believes a commissioner is needed to make costly decisions about equipment, find ways to curb overtime costs, and report to the board. The first public hearing was held 2 weeks ago, and a second was also arranged last week. The current firefighting crew is made up of 13 paid firefighters and many more volunteers. The chief is a volunteer and would continue to be in charge at fire scenes. Things are tense, and it looks like volunteers are leaving the department. Stay tuned to LMC News for the latest on this burning issue.
One anti-Semitic case that was solved involved an area teenager whose father worked for the French consulate in Manhattan. Last September, a jogger noticed nearly a dozen red swastikas painted on some rocks and trees along a nature trail in the town of Mamaroneck. The 13-year-old boy admitted he did it, and his case was brought before the family court system. The Westchester County Probation Department recommended dismissing the case, but the judge hearing the matter decided on harsher punishment. Family Court Judge Ingrid Braslow ruled the teen must serve a year probation and study the Holocaust, including the reading of The Diary of a Young Girl by Anne Frank, writing a 1,500-word composition on the Holocaust, and visiting the Holocaust Museum in Manhattan. Judge Braslow said that graffiti is not to be taken lightly, and when the graffiti is a swastika, the court is compelled to take decisive action because of what it represents. The teenager is not suspected in a series of other anti-Semitic spray paintings on area homes last year. Those incidents remain unsolved. Alicia?
Well, from the police blotter, a 35-year-old Mamaroneck Village woman suffered minor injuries last Wednesday as she attempted to make a left turn into the McDonald's on Boston Post Road at about 10:30 in the morning. Teresa Mastraccio of 210 Osborne Avenue was taken to United Hospital Medical Center in Portchester, where she was treated and released for her injuries. 78-year-old Robert Carl of Darien, Connecticut collided with Mastraccio and was uninjured. Other police news includes several airbags stolen in Mamaroneck. One car was broken into on Palmer Avenue and another in Washington Square. Mamaroneck also reported 2 car thefts. One was a Porsche stolen from Chatsworth Avenue, and the other was a Buick LeSabre taken from Myrtle Avenue.
And now the story of a little piece of liberty at the French School in Larchmont. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Guy Vitro with the story.
The French-American school in Larchmont had a special visitor. Jean Wiart, one of the many artisans who restored the Statue of Liberty in the mid-1980s, was on hand to exhibit a replica of Lady Liberty's lips and to describe how the restoration process took place. Jean also let the students know the symbolic meaning of the statue, explaining that liberty was a gift of friendship to America from the French. The children listened to the artisan's lecture, which included a slideshow depicting the restoration in progress. And afterwards, students were led to an art exhibit with works by their fellow classmates. The theme of the works on display was, you guessed it, friendship. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Guy Vitro.
On May 1st, LMC-TV hosts its annual LMC Community Television Festival and Award Show. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News spoke with Lynn Crowley, LMC-TV's Access Coordinator and main coordinator of the show, about the 8th Annual Television Festival.
It's being held at the Emlyn Theater, as usual, on Thursday, May 1st this year. Let's see, what can I tell you? The show, the live telecast, which will be on Channel 14, will start at 8 o'clock. But before that, from about 7 o'clock, we're having an auction, a silent auction of items that have been donated by members of the community to raise some money.
Oh, wow. Is there an admission charge to come to the show?
Tickets are $8 in advance and $10 at the door.
Okay, that sounds pretty exciting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And what kind of awards are going to be distributed?
Well, we have the Joseph P. Frioli Volunteer of the Year Award, and that's going to 3 people this year, to Marianne Sullivan, Frank Light, and Mike Witch for the work they did on the negotiating team for the franchise renewal with TCI. Okay. We have another award, the Marianne Sullivan Award, named after our first president, which is going to Larchmont Village trustee Ken Bialo for his work in concluding the negotiations with TCI. And then we have the ever-popular, or the newly popular, People's Choice Award. And that will be decided by our viewers. Programs that have been made in the last year have been submitted. They're going to be shown the 3 nights before May 1st, and viewers can call in to vote for their favorite show. And then on the night of the awards show, the winner will be announced.
Is that call-in number 698-6808?
That's right,
After 4
Alicia.
p.m.?
That's correct.
Okay, I thought so.
And we have some entertainment in the show. Mamaroneck resident Wayne Cilento, Broadway choreographer Wayne Cilento, is going to be on the show. And he's just opened recently his musical Dream, which he directed and choreographed. And this is starring Leslie Ann Warren, and he animates with his choreography the songbook of Johnny Mercer. And for those who may not recall, he's written many, many songs. Some of them like Jeepers Creepers, Summer Wind, Satin Doll, Days of Wine and Roses, Fools Rush In, Moon River. You can just imagine the 5 decades worth of music, and Wayne has put it all to dance. And there are a couple other people, Margaret Whiting and John Pizzarelli, who are in the show too. So anyway, Wayne will be there to talk to us and to show us, I hope, a clip of some of the show.
Are there any other entertainers?
Yes, in the spirit of the Broadway musical, we have a performance from Mamaroneck High School's recent production of Damn Yankees. And we also have from the Rhinebeck High School recent production of Little Shop of Horrors. We have a number from each of those by students.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be a night of excitement and fun with the auction, the entertainment, the awards, and if you can't go there in person, you can certainly watch it live on Channel 14 that night, beginning at 8 p.m. And again, it's the LMC-TV's 8th annual award show and
Community TV Festival. So we hope people will come to the show or tune in.
At the Emlyn Theater
May 1st,
on Thursday, May 1st.
Correct.
Thanks so much for joining us, Lynn.
Thank you, Alicia.
A special educational boat trip to illustrate the Long Island Sound. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Jenny Neumeister has the story.
The Long Island Sound Office of the Federal Environmental Protection Agency sponsored an on-the-water workshop last week, and it was pretty chilly. But it continued their program of educating community leaders of the importance of preserving the quality of water and life under the water. After the vessel EnviroLab 2 left Mamaroneck Beach and Yacht Club, a large fishing net was cast into the Sound. And as the crew brought it up, the visitors were amazed to see the hermit crabs, several flounder, a clear-nosed snake, and some other bottom dwellers that were taken aboard and then placed into holding tanks aboard the boat. The message: in order to preserve the aquatic balance of marine life for recreational and commercial fishing, it's critical that nitrogen levels in the Sound be reduced. We can all help. A public meeting to hear the EPA plans for nitrogen reduction in the Sound, discuss the habitat restoration plan, and receive public comment is scheduled for May 21st at 7 p.m. in New Rochelle City Hall. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, this is Jenny Neumeister. If you've noticed your tap water looking a little different these days, there's an explanation. It's the season the fire departments flush the fire hydrants. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Sven Ume explains.
It's time for flushing the hydrants again. Work started last week in Mamaroneck Town, north of I-95 in the Prior Manor section. Crews of Westchester Joint Waterworks will work their way south and east through Mamaroneck Village and into Harrison over the next couple of weeks. During the first phase of flushing, hydrants are flushed during daytime. In late May, they will be flushed again during the night. Hydrant flushing is done to clear the water mains and the lines to the hydrants from rust and sediment. This keeps the water clean and also prevents damage to the pumpers, and it prevents corrosion. Residents may experience discolored water, but the water is said to be safe for consumption.
So even though the water might look a little funny, it's still okay to drink?
Pretty harmless.
Okay. And now for an interview with someone very special living in our area. To hear from her, here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Catherine Kaywood.
For being with us tonight, Paige.
Well, I'm glad to be here. It's fun.
I guess some of our viewers know you through the Paige Morton radio show, and some people probably know you through a record you released earlier. And then some people know you through the theme song that you sang for the Chocolate
jingle, yes.
But we asked you to come here tonight to talk about your new CD.
Page One, it's called.
Page One?
Yes.
How did this come about?
Well, somebody showed a tape of mine to Aretha Franklin's agent, and she helped me put it together. She liked it, and she found some unusual songs besides all the standards.
What songs are on the CD?
I don't know why. I love that song, Don't Blame Me, My Foolish Heart. And there are 3 songs by Timmy Rogers, who wrote for and with Nat King Cole, and they're almost gospel songs, besides all the other standards.
So you're singing, and what kind of accompaniment do you have in the
A
background?
reggae background, which is unusual for standards.
Okay, and I understand you still practice?
Oh yes, I play the piano, so I practice a little bit every night.
Oh, you play the piano and sing?
Yes.
You were telling me how you practice with a tape?
Well, I practiced singing to a tape that my singing teacher made, and Tony Bennett practices to that same type of tape. We studied with the same teacher.
I understand that your tape can be had locally at listening material in Larchmont on the Post Road. So if our viewers want to get it
CD,
locally,
yes,
the
page
CD.
1.
Right. It's also at Tower and the Whiz.
Yes.
Now, you got your start by taking piano lessons when you were 4 years old.
My mother taught piano, and she taught me to play, yes.
And when you came to New York, where did you start singing?
I sang and played the piano at various places, the Pierre Hotel, Sherry Netherland, the Warwick, 1 Fifth Avenue, the Vanderbilt, and also little places in Greenwich Village.
So in addition to performing, I understand you're also involved with the Parkinson's Foundation?
Yes, I'm chairman of that at Columbia Presbyterian. My husband started it because his best friend developed Parkinson's. So when my husband died, I carried on as chairman.
I guess we should mention that your husband was William Black?
Yes, he founded Chock-full Nuts.
Oh, okay. And are you planning on making more CDs?
Yes, this one's just getting rolling, so we'll have to work on this first.
Great.
Yes.
Anything else you'd like to tell the audience?
Well, I just hope they enjoy it, and I have fun thinking of their listening and enjoying it.
Great. Thank you for coming and talking with us tonight, Paige.
Nice to meet you.
And it looks like we have the CD of Paige Morton Black entitled Page 1, which will be on auction at Thursday, May 1st, 8th Annual LMC TV Awards Show and Community Festival. And I guess be sure to take a look and maybe take a bid on it.
That's only about a week away.
Yeah.
Ina Myers passed away last week at a nursing home in Pennsylvania. She was the last serious full-time reporter-editor that our Larchmont-Mamaroneck area has ever had. She was an editor before the local newspaper was bought by the Gannett chain. Larchmont-Mamaroneck community news reporter Guy Vitro takes a look at the life of Ina Myers.
Ina Myers, 76, left her mark on the community she served during 30 years of journalism in Westchester County, died on Monday in Haverford, Pennsylvania, her home for the past 6 years. Ina began her career in 1961 as a reporter at the Daily Times in Mamaroneck. She rose to city editor in 1968 and to managing editor in 1974. In 1985, she became local editor of 3 Sound Shore newspapers, the Daily Times, the Standard Star, and the Daily Item. From 1987 through 1990, when she retired, she served on the Gannett Suburban newspaper's editorial staff. According to the Daily Times, as an editor, Miss Myers strongly supported educational endeavors and preservation of parkland. Colleagues fondly remembered her as a person who adjusted quickly to change. She was able to handle anything that came her way. She'll be sorely missed. For Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Guy Vitro.
About 200 Westchester area high school seniors are hopping mad about the SATs. Not the SATs themselves so much, but the fact that the SAT tests they took March 15th at White Plains High School got lost. The Scholastic Aptitude test they took were sent to the testing center in Princeton, New Jersey via Federal Express, but never arrived. 280 students took the test, but only 80 of the papers arrived at the testing center. The students who were left out will have the option to take the test again next month or in June, and the $21.50 testing fee at least will be waived, but that's not the half of it. As any student knows, you study and study and prepare with a sigh of relief after the SATs are finished. Now for the 200 students in Westchester and Southern Connecticut, it's Stress City all over again as they prepare for the SATs they thought they were done with. Alicia?
All I can say is thank goodness they didn't lose mine, or maybe they should have. Well, Mamaroneck School District welcomed a host of newly tenured administrators and teachers. And I have a list of a few of them here, well, all of them here. The administrators include Peter Berendt of Mamaroneck Avenue School. He is the principal. And Michael Rausch, assistant principal at Mamaroneck High School. The teachers include Janice Landrum, Linda Sherwood, and Karina Fabi of Mamaroneck High School, Kathleen Conway, Catherine Hyde, and Peter Viola of Hommock School. Also Michelle Burton-Zuckman, Carolyn Klein, Karen Harris, Susan Heron, John Savage, and Karen Manchester, all of Central School. Gretchen Broderick, Gloria Jordan, and Denise Luttrick of Mamaroneck Avenue School, and Ellen Kenny and Carrie Amon of Murray Avenue School. And two teaching assistants, Catherine Penso of Mamaroneck Avenue School and Beth Walsh of Mamaroneck High School. Congratulations to you all.
All right. We hear a lot about inflation these days, whether inflation is going to go up or stay at the low levels that we've become accustomed to. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Sven Ome takes a look at local prices.
As far as grocery items are concerned, there is good news. According to a survey by Westchester County's Department of Consumer Protection, the average weekly cost to feed a family of 4 was 24 cents less in March than in November of last year. The $125.84 total was, however, 3.2% higher than in March of 1996. The Westchester Department of Consumer Protection looks at 45 food items in 4 categories: grocery products, dairy products, produce, and meat. The survey is conducted in 16 supermarkets in the county. A look at the different food groups shows different rates of increase during the November to March period. Due to a cold weather spell in January in Florida, produce prices went up by almost 12%. Dairy products, on the other hand, were cheaper because of an increase in milk production.
And that's it for this edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News for the last full week of April 1997. In case you missed any portion of this news show, you can see it again.
This program is on Channel 14 LMC-TV Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Also, you can call LMC-TV and ask to see the news show. The number to call is 698-6808 after 4 p.m.
The crew at LMC-TV will do their best to put Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News on at a time that's convenient for you to watch. Remember, the number to call after 4 is 698-6808 and ask to see the news show.
And if you want to get involved, you can. We're all volunteers and we can always use some help. We record on Thursday nights.
Stop by some Thursday night when we put this program together. We're at the LMC-TV studios in Mamaroneck High School. We're on the Palmer Avenue side, just up the stairs from Walter's Hot Dog Stand.
If you have any comments, suggestions, or local news items, send them to us at Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, 1 Library Lane, Mamaroneck, New York, 10543.
Thanks for watching Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Roger Norham.
And I'm Alicia Myro.
And we want to remind you that if you are driving by Harbor Island Park in this week until the 27th of April, don't miss the big happenings down there. Why don't you read it for us?
Ride into Spring Carnival at Harbor Island Park, and it's sponsored by the Village of Mamaroneck Department of Recreation. Go down and have a good time.
What are the hours?
The hours of operations are daily from 2 to 8 p.m. and there are ride specials from 2 to 5 p.m. Thursdays and Saturdays, and it looks like a lot of fun.
Until the 27th of April. All right, well, let's, we'll have to take a look at that.
I think so.
Do you want to take a close-up of this?
school districts gear up for a May 7th vote.
The Wet and Wild burning boat case dismissed in court.
Larchmont Police get a pay hike.
Mamaroneck Village budget, where to trim some more.
A look at the police blotter.
A local psychic reader fights a Virginia City Hall.
We'll update you on the Willow apartment complex plan across from the A&P in Mamaroneck.
And a look at some people, places, and things.
Those stories and more on Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
Hello and welcome to Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Roger Norham.
And I'm Alicia Myro. Our top story.
On May 7th, there will be voting in Mamaroneck and Ryeneck for the school budgets and the school board candidates. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Jenny Neumeister spoke with school board vice president in Mamaroneck School District, Benson Bealey.
Jenny, the proposed budget is $58+ million, but the thing that the taxpayers should keep in mind, budget-to-budget increase is 3.66%, just a shade over the CPI, in line with it. However, the tax rate increase is going to be 5.3% because of the reduction in assessed valuations brought about by all the certiorari's from the commercial enterprises in the area.
What do you think about the governor's proposal? And I know nobody's taken any action on this. It would be nice if they did. The governor's proposal to fund the school tax from another entity.
Well, actually his proposal isn't going to fund the whole school tax. What he has suggested is to give everybody a $30,000 exemption from their assessed valuation, and that the state will pick up the tax on that amount. Seniors would get a $50,000 exemption.
Think it's going to fly?
No, I don't think it's going to fly. I think for two reasons. One, because I don't think the Assembly will buy it just on general principles. Two, I don't think the governor or his people have taken a sharp-pointed pencil. A $30,000 exemption in Westchester is a lot more costly to the state than a $30,000 exemption in Skaneateles.
Yeah, no question about it. But let me ask you, how high is up? That's some of what we hear around town on the taxes. How high is up?
You mean as far as what?
How much higher can it go?
Well, if the taxes stay within the range of the inflation rate, then that's the controlling influence. It's true that people like myself, who as a senior and have a relatively fixed income, have problems.
I wish we could talk more about this. Maybe sometime we will be able to talk some more. I know the budget vote is coming up soon. Thanks for coming.
May 7th is the budget vote, and thank you for having me.
Remember to vote on both Ryeneck and Mamaroneck school budget on May 7th. The polls open early and close at 9.
You may recall the case last June where a burning power boat in Mamaroneck Harbor, the Wet and Wild, drifted close enough to the marina at the Beach Point Yacht Club to cause at least one other boat to catch fire. Former Mamaroneck resident Gerard Capel jumped into the water to help get a grappling hook onto the burning boat. His actions got him arrested by village police after he got into an argument with the village fire chief. The fireboat was not working, and Capel ignored an order by the fire chief to get out of the water. At the time, Capel was charged with obstructing governmental administration, a misdemeanor. But other club members praised Capel's action. They said he saved other yachts from catching fire. However, fire and police officials said Capel interfered with them doing their job. Both Mamaroneck Village judges recused themselves from hearing the case, and it was moved to Rye. Rye City Judge Peter Lane has dismissed the charge. He said that the emergency had passed by the time Capel and the fire chief argued, and that Capel's action was limited to complaining. and did not physically interfere or prevent the chief from performing his duties. And that's that. The Wet and Wild case dismissed. Alicia?
Larchmont Police have signed a 3-year contract that includes pay increases of up to 3.5% and caps on accrued vacation time. Larchmont Police have a starting salary of $26,000, and this new agreement, retroactive to June 1st, 1996, calls for a pay increase of 2.25% in the first 6 months, 2% in the second 6 months, and 3.5% each of the following 2 years. The cap on accrued time appears to be the most significant new negotiation. The new cap will limit the number of days officers will be paid when they retire. Due to low staffing, officers tend to neglect to take vacation time, and their hours accrue until retirement. This new cap will limit the accrual for officers hired before March 1st, 1984 to 50 days, and those hired after that date to 40 days. Personal days are determined differently. Officers receive 6 personal days per year and are required to take at least 3. Up to 50 personal days, or whatever number was accrued as of November 1st, 1996, will be paid out. The agreement applies to all of Larchmont's 27 officers except the chief. The new contract also calls for funeral expenses of up to $10,000 for an officer killed in the line of duty, and an increase in life insurance of $25,000. Trustees and officers appear happy with the contract.
The old Pure Food site across from the A&P on Mamaroneck Avenue, soon to be a luxury apartment complex called The Willow. It's another step closer to groundbreaking. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Sven Ome with the story.
The site on Mamaroneck Avenue where the Pure Foods factory was located has been vacant for a number of years now. You might also remember that last summer St. Vito's Festa was held there. In May, construction is scheduled to begin on a 227-unit luxury apartment building on the lot of the Pure Foods factory. The construction will also include 3 adjacent lots that the developers, Avalon Properties, based in Wilton, Connecticut, have bought. Once completed, the apartment complex will include an interior courtyard with an outdoor swimming pool, squash courts, an exercise room, an aerobics studio, a community room, and a parking garage. The new apartment complex will be called Avalon Willow and will cost approximately $40 million. Before the final approval of the project, concerns had been raised in the village by residents who fear that the addition of 227 new apartments would create additional traffic on Mamaroneck Avenue. Avalon Willow is not the only project in our area that the company is engaged in. Avalon Properties is currently in negotiations with New Rochelle to build up to 1,000 rental apartments in the downtown area.
Village officials in Mamaroneck clash over budget items. With details, here is Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Ginny Neumeister.
The Mamaroneck Village Board is struggling to cut some money off its proposed $16.8 million budget for the coming fiscal year. While federal grants may pay for the police and code enforcement officers the village wants to hire, controversy broke out last week between Mayor Joe Lanza and Trustee Archie Giannunzio over Giannunzio's proposed cuts in the stipend given to the elected officials. The stipend doesn't cover expenses of elected officials as it is, says Lanza, and that is true. On one item, both men agree, and that is to look at the health insurance plan for savings. The village hopes to sell about $300,000 in tax liens, which, if successful, will pay off the deficit. And upcoming projects, such as the Harbor Island restaurant, will ultimately bring new revenue to the village. The board must approve the budget by May 1st. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, this is Ginny Neumeister.
Now, taking a look at a few items from the police blotter, a 3-year-old Mamaroneck boy was treated for bruises to his head on Sunday, April 20th, after he was hit by a car. Benjamin Walk of 308 Travers Avenue was taken to United Hospital. The boy was hit by a neighbor's car, a 1991 Cadillac driven by Pamela Rush. She told police she was backing out of her driveway. No charges were filed.
An incident near Lorenzen Park April 18th. A Pennsylvania man was arrested by police after his motorcycle hit a utility pole at Cherry and Flint Avenues in Larchmont, and the man tried to run away. 40-year-old Gregory Harding of Gulf Mills, Pennsylvania was taken to New Rochelle Hospital. Police have charged him with several infractions, including driving while intoxicated, driving with a suspended license, leaving the scene of an accident, and not wearing a helmet. Harding has a Larchmont court date scheduled for May 6th.
And now a few local news brief items.
Mamaronec's GOP is seeking candidates interested in running for this fall's town council elections. Town Supervisor Elaine Price's seat is up for re-election, as well as town board members Paul Ryan and Valerie Moore O'Keefe. A committee has been formed to interview potential candidates. The committee consists of Mark Mannix, Marion White, Deidre Corwin, Joseph Angeletta, and Marianne Lanza. So if you are a Mamaroneck town resident interested in running this fall, please contact a Republican committee member or write to Mark Mannix at 1833 Palmer Avenue, Larchmont, New York, 10538.
And I suspect the Democrats would like to know if there are any candidates out there that might want to be on the town council as well, and I'm sure you can get in touch with any of the Democratic candidate people. Mamaroneck Village planted a red maple on Arbor Day in honor of Burton Meehan, a 96-year-old community-minded lawyer that he died at the end of last year. Meehan had spent his entire life in the village. He was one-time historian of the town and village of Mamaroneck and raised funds to expand Mamaroneck Library and even chaired the Mamaroneck Bicentennial Celebration. Deputy Mayor Walter Rogers read the Arbor Day proclamation outside Village Hall on Friday, April 18th.
Well, volunteers are needed to help Save the Sound Incorporated, a Connecticut-based research group, with a series of water testing programs this summer. Some of the sites to be tested include Mamaroneck Harbor, Echo Bay, and Milton Harbor. The group is looking for boat pilots and future scientists. Training sessions will begin soon, so call 203-327-9786 for more information.
Lyme disease grant tragedy. The details from Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Catherine Kaywood.
A Lyme disease grant of $48,000 was recently added to the 1997 Westchester County budget. Legislators approved the funding based on the assumption that the money would be granted to the Lewis Calder Center Vector Ecology Laboratory in Armonk. The Calder Center is Westchester County's only lab that monitors ticks. They had hoped to use the money to determine whether the risk of Lyme disease is changing in various areas of the county. However, the Westchester County Health Department is free to use this grant money for any Lyme disease project it wishes, because the budget addition specified only that the money was to be used for research. Instead of giving the money to the Calder Center researchers, the Health Department plans to award 4 smaller grants, none of which is enough to fund the project originally intended for the Calder Center. Many people in the Lyme community are unhappy with how things have turned out. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, this is Catherine Kaywood.
There's a lot going on in our area, and here with a summary of people, places, and events is Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Ginny Neumeister.
The annual Chatsworth School Carnival is scheduled for May 3rd from 11 to 4 on the school grounds in Larchmont. Added will be a maypole dance, a talent show, and a plant sale. There will be food and games for everyone. And speaking of carnivals, Mamaroneck's Carnival at Harbor Island Park was great and did very well. Now also on Saturday, May 3rd, an art auction will be held at the American Legion Hall Post 90 on Prospect Avenue in Mamaroneck, sponsored by the Kiwanis Club. Famous named artists will be represented, and you can preview the show at 7 p.m. The auction starts at 8. Donation is $2 per person, and major credit cards will be accepted. If you're looking to get into shape, aerobics classes are being held at the Walter F. Rogers Recreation Center at Harbor Island Park. But if you're in the mood for something a little more mellow, you might want to try the line dancing classes also at the Walter Rogers Rec Center. Call 777-7784 for registration information. While you're at Harbor Island Park, you might want to walk across the street and dine at Down by the Bay. Gina, Ken, and Scott Yeager have refurbished the James Fenimore Cooper House at 410 West Boston Post Road, across from the Cherry Blossoms, and serve up a wonderful grilled seafood salad. And after you're good, if you're looking to blow the diet, you might want to try the walnut tart drizzled with caramel syrup and a side of cinnamon ice cream for dessert. It was wonderful. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, this is Jenny Neumeister.
It's only a few months away from the prestigious PGA golf tournament coming to our area and the links of Wingfoot Golf Club, and some vandalism reported at the club. Police say several items were damaged the night of April 21st. A water fountain was knocked off its base, and a bench and golf ball cleaner were knocked over onto a tee box. Also, a few roadway signs were damaged at Wingfoot. Meantime, at Bonnie Briar Country Club off Weaver Street, a set of golf clubs and bag were reported stolen. The theft apparently happened the weekend of April 19th, and the man whose clubs and bag were stolen told police they were a brand name called Callaway and worth about $1,500. Two workers at Bonnie Briar say they saw a man take the bag of golf clubs and put them in a car. The workers gave police only a sketchy description. On the night of April 21st at the Stop and Shop, a Larchmont woman told police her wallet was stolen from her purse while she was shopping in the store. The woman reported $72 cash, a $200 check, and credit cards were also taken along with the wallet.
She probably knew she was going to have a battle on her hands, a Mamaroneck psychic reader fighting a Virginia city. More from Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Lori Valvano.
Mamaroneck psychic reader has to fight for her right to practice her mystical ways in Norfolk, Virginia. The clairvoyant one, Barbara DeLong, was scheduled to appear at a bookstore in Norfolk, but she had to postpone her appearance when she learned the city bans palm reading for a fee. DeLong, an ordained minister in a church called the Sanctuary of the Beloved, a Mamaroneck Village resident, feels her religious and free speech rights are being violated. She usually charges $70 an hour for a consultation. DeLong and the American Civil Liberties Union of Virginia are filing a lawsuit against the city for infringing upon her First Amendment rights. Norfolk's laws date back to 1958, when the city also outlawed tattoo parlors and sneezing powder or snuff. So the future of psychics being paid for their cosmic ways is soon to be decided in the Virginia courts. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, this is Lori Valvano.
A couple car incidents from the police blotter. A Chatsworth Avenue man in the town of Mamaroneck told police his 1990 Acura Integra was stolen the night of April 23rd while it was parked in his driveway on North Chatsworth Avenue. And another Chatsworth Avenue man said his car was damaged between Friday, April 18th and Sunday, the 20th, while parked in a lot at Carlton House. He said the car door lock was pried open, but nothing apparently was stolen from his car.
A Bishop Place man says his 1986 Volvo was vandalized April 21st. The passenger window broken, damage reported at about $200. That same night, a New Rochelle resident reported his '88 Chevrolet was broken into while it was parked on Rockland Avenue in the village. Also, a 1995 Jeep parked on Beach Avenue, Mamaroneck Village, was broken into. A stereo and ashtray were reported stolen. And in Larchmont, a girl's Schwinn bicycle was reported stolen from a Kilmer Avenue home's driveway the night of April 18th. A smaller child's bike was left alone. Well, there's no question it's the hay fever and allergy season. And for a few ideas on how to cope, Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Catherine Kaywood has some suggestions.
Spring is finally here, and with it a lot of people experience sneezing, watery eyes, stuffy sinuses, or headaches. Many people are allergic to the pollen of the various plants. If you have spring allergies, you can either suffer or you can do something about it. Allergy injections help a lot of people. Prescription or over-the-counter medications can help others. Herbal remedies can also help. I was reading today about a physician who recommends that his patients with allergies sprinkle their food liberally with cayenne for a few days. Homeopathy seems to provide allergic relief for some sufferers. One can use acupuncture, or if you prefer acupressure, press firmly for about 2 minutes towards the bone that connects the index finger, and at the same time take slow, deep breaths. Sometimes it can help to address the cause of the problem rather than just to put a Band-Aid over the symptoms. One of the primary causes of allergies is a weakened immune system. One can strengthen the immune system with good quality and balanced nutritional supplements such as those by USANA. If you're interested in allergy injections or prescription medications to help you get through the spring, contact your physician. If you prefer herbal or homeopathic remedies, we have some wonderful health food stores and pharmacies here. If you're interested in the USANA nutritional system for relief of your allergies, you can leave a message on my voicemail at 800-956-7733. There are many different ways of dealing with allergies and hay fevers, so you simply choose the method that you feel most comfortable with. For Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News, this is Catherine K. Wood.
Incidentally, the latest issue of Life magazine also has a good article on some of the new wonder drugs that medicine has come up with to help fight hay fever and allergies. And that's it for this edition of Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News for the end of April 1997. In case you missed any portion of this news show, you can see it again.
This program is on Channel 14 LMC-TV Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Also, you can call LMC-TV and ask to see the news show. The number to call is 698-6808 after 4 p.m.
The crew at LMC-TV will do their best to put the Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News program on at a time that's convenient for you to watch. Remember, the number to call after 4 is 698-6808 and ask to see the news show.
And if you want to get involved, you can. We're all volunteers and we can always use some help. We record on Thursday nights.
Stop by some Thursday night, not this Thursday night, but normally Thursday night when we put this program together. We're at the LMC-TV studios in Mamaroneck High School on the Palmer Avenue side, just up the stairs from Walter's Hot Dog Stand.
If you have any comments, suggestions, or local news items, send them to us at Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News, 1 Library Lane, Mamaroneck, New York, 10543.
Thanks for watching Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Roger Nora.
And I'm Alicia Myro. Have a great month of May.
And we'll see you this Thursday night at the LMC-TV Award Show at the Emlyn Theater. Festivities begin around 8 o'clock. See you there.
Local school budgets in Mamaroneck and Rhinebeck win voter approval. Artifacts dating from the 17 and 1800s found near Larchmont Gardens Lake. A 7.4% tax increase as Mamaroneck Village approves their budget. A new Lyme disease alert has been issued by the county. Mamaroneck Village declares a 6-month moratorium on cell phone towers. These and other stories on people, places, and events on this week's edition of Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News. Welcome to this week's edition of Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Alicia Myro. And I'm Ginny Newmeister. Our top story: Rhinebeck School District voters approved operating budgets for the 1997-98 school year. First, we'll look at the Mamaroneck District vote. The budget as approved is $58,333,000. It passed by a more than 700 vote margin.
1,719 approved, 1,012 voted against the budget. It represents a more than 3.5% spending increase, but will boost residents' school tax bill 5.3%. A homeowner whose property is assessed at $15,000 will now pay $5,090 in school tax. Also, 4 members of the Board of Education were elected. They ran unopposed. Incumbent Barbara Bennett Rones and Jay Gottlieb, also an incumbent. 2 first-time candidates were elected to the school board, Susan K. Spencer and Robert G. Martin. Mamaroneck School Board terms are for 3 years, but Robert Martin will just serve for the year remaining in the term of Jeff Olafson, who resigned in September. The Mamaroneck School District is expected to welcome at least 123 new students. Alicia?
Well, the votes are in on 6 Rhinebeck residents that were vying for 3 school board seats. The candidates were competing for 2 3-year terms, and the remaining term of Liz Perlstein, who left in January to go overseas. The 2 top vote-getters were incumbent Leonard Talevi and first-time candidate Jean Lightbody, who will take on the 2 3-year terms. School Board President Alan Manocherian will take on the spot vacated by Ms. Perlstein. Rhinebeck residents also cast their vote on the school budget. The budget, which called for the lowest tax increase in 7 years, passed. The $15.5 million budget calls for the hiring of 5 new teachers and 1 teacher's aide due to increased enrollment next year. It will also include an extra nurse, computer technology upgrades, and additional advanced placement courses. The budget vote did not include funds for capital improvements. Soaring stock prices, which drove down the district's contribution to the teachers' retirement system, helped in cutting the budget 1.5%.
More bomb scares in the Mamaroneck School District. For the 5th time in 3 weeks, Murray Avenue School had to be evacuated because of a bomb scare. The call came in to police around 10 a.m. and classes were disrupted for about an hour and a half. 2 other bomb threats were called into Mamaroneck High School during April. Alicia?
The county has issued a new alert for Lyme disease, and Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Catherine Kaywood has the story.
May has been declared Lyme Disease Awareness Month, and recently more than 100 Lyme disease victims rallied outside the nation's capital in Washington, D.C. At the rally, the first consumer-oriented book on how to deal with the disease was introduced. The title is Everything You Need to Know About Lyme Disease and Other Tick-Borne Disorders, and the author is Karen Vanderhoff Forschner, who is the head of the Lyme Disease Foundation. Karen's son actually died from the disease. The Hudson Valley has almost 1/4 of all the Lyme disease nationwide. But it's not just Lyme disease anymore. Many of the ticks in Westchester County carry either Lyme disease, ehrlichiosis, or both. The symptoms of both are similar, for example, the flu-like symptoms, although they may be milder with ehrlichiosis, and Lyme disease is often accompanied by a circular rash. The primary tick season is now through August, so at this time of the year there are many of the small nymphal ticks. Please be careful. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, this is Catherine Kaywood.
Mamaroneck Village has decided to put a hold on the cell phone towers. With details, here is Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Glenna Gray.
Mamaroneck Village has enacted a temporary moratorium on the erecting of cellular telephone antennas. The 6-month moratorium will give Mamaroneck Village time to study the situation in order to create locations, numbers of towers, and design. The few antennas which are already in use are located in the industrial area of the village. Antennas for fire, police, private use, such as citizens' bands for radios, are excluded from the 6-month moratorium. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, this is Glenna Gray.
Well, they didn't give up without a fight. The Parents of Bergeon Students Unite, a committee composed of parents of Bergeon students, ended its organized effort to find a new location for the school. The Bergeon School, owned by Jane Schumer, had been operating out of temporary space in the Village Health Center on Stanley Avenue and a dance studio on Halstead Avenue. Schumer had announced that she was calling it quits back in February, but parents convinced her to hang in there if they could find space. There were a few close calls, and the school almost found a home on Boston Post Road, but was beat out by another nursery school. The Bergeon School hosted programs for 50 students ages 2 to 6, and its closing is leaving parents scrambling for preschool space for next year. The story may not be over yet, as some committee members say they'll consider leasing space in a building requiring minor repairs, if they can find one. The 1997-98 Village of Mamaroneck budget will increase taxes by $163.14 per $1,000 of assessed valuation. Say, for example, if your home is assessed at $16,000, your village tax would be $2,510. Michael Blau, village manager, together with the village board, spent endless hours trying to reduce the budget, but said Blau, there's just so much one can do to continue providing the services to the public that they want. Blau is also hoping that the new construction will be completed next year so as to add additional tax revenues to the village coffers. All of the trustees agree that there needs to be a surplus fund established, but the dollars just would not stretch enough this year. Cuts were made in the board's expenditures and in all budgets of departments and commissions. In addition, some fees have already been raised, and the village is promoting the sale of their tax liens. The two Democrats on the board protested the spending plan. Well, the 1997 Larchmont Run will be held on May 18th. And speaking about the race was Director Kate Bialo.
One of the things that we've done this year is we've changed it to a Sunday afternoon. Usually we have it on Saturday morning, but we found that that tended to conflict with other community events like the Human Race, always held on the Sunday between Mother's Day and Memorial Day weekend. And also Little League. There are just an enormous amount of kids who are involved in the Little League program on Saturday morning, and so we felt like we were keeping a lot of people from participating, so we decided to try it on a Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock and see if it works.
Well, if it's a nice day on Sunday afternoon, a lot of people like to be out walking, running, or doing whatever. Now you have a 1-mile fun run starting at 1 o'clock, right, and that is for children?
It's billed as a 1-mile fun run. It's a non-competitive race. It's mostly for kids, but a lot of parents like to run with their kids. And we encourage parents to run with their kids if they like, or they can also come to the finish line and watch the kids finish. We give a trophy to the first, second, and third place boy and girl aged 12 and under, but every other participant gets a ribbon, so it's definitely an event that everybody gets to win in.
So then you have a 2-mile fun walk and a 5-kilometer run, which is, I guess, that's the big race.
That's the competitive one, yeah. The 2-mile fun walk is something that we thought of really to give the rest of the community a way to participate. If you're not in good shape like me and you couldn't consider running 5 kilometers, but you want to try something other than the 1-mile fun run, we have the 2-mile walk, and that's great for parents who are pushing strollers or grandparents who want to participate or something like that.
Now, registration.
Registration, we really recommend that people pre-register in order to make. They can do that at Village Hall, Village of Larchmont, 2nd floor. See the recreation director or the village clerk. The reason we recommend pre-registration is because we want to make sure that everybody gets one of our totally excellent run shirts, which we have behind us. My son Matthew is modeling the runner's version. That's the white shirt here. The gray shirts are for the volunteers. While we're at it, I'd like to point out who our sponsors are. We are sponsored this year by Acura of Westchester, First Union National Bank, Larchmont Station Taxi, Larchmont Vision Care, and Total Fitness Center.
Matthew, I'm sorry, Kate.
Each of these sponsors has contributed $500 to help defray the cost of the run, paying for the T-shirts, the entertainment. We have a band, the River Street Ramblers, who play after the event and really sort of give a festive air to the whole thing. We also provide refreshments. So the sponsors have each contributed $500 to help defray those expenses, and we're very appreciative of that.
That's wonderful. It sounds like it's going to be a fun day, and we're about to wrap up. And I just want to ask you, Matthew, you plan to run? Attaboy. Artifacts dating back hundreds of years have been found in the area of Larchmont Gardens Lake. With news on the find, here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Glenna Gray.
The town of Mamaroneck honored their past by presenting a town history fair. The Friends of the Reservoir contributed a book on 3 centuries of the sheldrake. On May 4th, 1697, the town of Mamaroneck held its first meeting, and they chose Quaker leader Samuel Palmer to be the first supervisor. A videotape entitled Mamaroneck, the Town Where History Lives, was created by the high school. A paperback book, Mamaroneck, A History of the Gathering Place, details events and developments of the town from 1661 through 1997. Also included were interviews with long-term residents of the town. Congratulations and happy birthday to the town of Mamaroneck. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, this is Glenna Gray.
May 20th is the date set for the 4th annual Mayor's Golf Tournament at Bonnie Briar. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News spoke with Chairman Rich Chamalia.
It's going to be our 4th annual golf tournament in the village of Mamaroneck. It's for the sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce, and we honor whatever mayor is in office by then, you know, and it just so happens this year it's Mayor Lanza, you know, and the tournament has been very successful over the 4 years. We have it at Bonnie Briar Country Club, which is a very nice club, and it's a private club, and by the way, it's in fine shape this year. I played it just a week ago, and it was gorgeous.
I thought you played again today.
I did. That was somewhere else.
Okay. Now, the mayoral golf tournament. Now, this is for all of the mayors should participate in this. We have some former mayors who I think are planning to be invited, or they should be invited, or they should play in this, right?
Yes, we send them letters, and we hope they do come. It would be really an honor to have all the mayors participate, and maybe something like this would catch on through the whole county, and it would be really great. And whoever plays in the tournament, it's a scramble tournament, which means everybody has fun. You don't have to be a great golfer. You just got to go out there and have a lot of fun and hit the ball. Everybody takes a shot, and then everybody takes another shot. And by the way, if you get a hole-in-one, we're giving away a brand new Toyota car, which is going to be super.
That's sponsored by Toyota City on the 10th hole, I believe.
Right, it's going to be on the 10th hole of Bonnie Briar, and everybody got a shot at it.
Okay, so there are people available to, they can call the Chamber of Commerce office, or they can call your restaurant.
They can call me at the Richie's Restaurant, Richie's 19th hole, 698-4263.
Good.
In Mamaroneck.
We hope to see you on the 4th tee.
We'll be on all the tees. I ride around and make sure everybody has a good time.
Edward Ladden, a Mamaroneck Town volunteer firefighter, collided with Luigi Landi of Larchmont while en route to a fire at the Bonnie Briar Country Club. The incident took place at the intersection of Palmer Avenue and Weaver Street on Friday, May 2nd, around 8 p.m. Both men, luckily, were able to drive away from the scene. The Mamaroneck Village Recreation Department has announced that registration forms for day camp can be picked up at the village's recreation office at the Walter Rogers Beach Pavilion between 9 and 5 p.m. And registration for camp will take place on Monday evening, May 27th, starting at 6 p.m. For further information, call the recreation office at 777-7784. The Division of Otology and Communication Sciences at Sound Shore Medical Center will offer free hearing screenings on Saturday, May 17th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. The screenings will be in the Speech and Hearing Department located on the lobby level of the Howe Avenue Nursing Home on Glover Johnson Place in New Rochelle and will be held on a first-come, first-served basis. Screenings are available for children age 5 through senior citizens. For further information, call Anne Marie Cianci at the Sound Shore Medical Center. The number is 637-1230. Judith Federle, professor of English and Women's Studies at SUNY Albany, will hold a lecture on May 22nd on the explosion of American women writers between 1830 and 1880. The lecture will be held at the Mamaroneck Library on Library Lane. Refreshments will be served at 9:30, and the lecture begins at 10 a.m. Admission is free, and if you're interested, call 698-1250. The Italian restaurant called La Valletta located near the southbound thruway entrance in Larchmont, has undergone a change in management. LMC-TV's Sonny Goldberg and a friend recently visited proprietor Victor Calaba there and later sampled the new menu.
I was working in Manhattan for approximately 5.5 years on a restaurant, Sienna Restaurant. It's on 40th Street between 5th Avenue and Madison Avenue. And my partner and I, Leo, we've been looking to try to find a place, a small restaurant, and he came across this place. He took me up here one weekend, and from then on it was, I guess, love at first sight for the restaurant.
Victor, now, some people may not know you're on Madison Avenue, but I didn't know the street here. You're right by Total Fitness.
Yes, we're right in the front of Total Fitness Center.
And as you go to get off the
I-95.
Okay, I want to make sure they can find you here in this lovely...
That's what I want them to find out, too, to find the directions directly to Lovely Letter.
And the most important thing is, I think I'm going to turn this over to Susan because she knows a great deal about the food. She's the one who said to me, Sonny, you really got to do a restaurant review with Victor because...
one of my best customers.
Okay. So, Susan, tell us why you like eating here.
Eating here is really a treat, Sonny. The restaurant's been totally renovated and redecorated. As you can see, it has a lovely soft palette, and in the evening it's very gentle and pleasant surroundings to be in. The staff is gracious and welcoming, and Victor is always on the ball. He knows exactly what's going on. It's very cute, very accommodating to people's needs if they have special dietary needs.
Even like Bradley?
Even like vegetarian Bradley, especially.
Okay, Victor, now let's get down to the nitty-gritty here.
Down to the food.
The food, how'd you know? You have a beautiful...
Well, as you see right here, when customers come in, as soon as they sit down at the table, we ask them for their cocktail for before dinner or lunch, whatever it is. Then we present them with a little bruschetta. Bruschetta is an Italian bread, and it's topped with chopped onions, chopped tomato, little garlic, and a little Parmesan cheese. Just a little compliment to start the appetite, to whet the palate a little bit.
Absolutely, I can't keep my...
Oh, this is great stuff here.
And then you have specials.
And then we let them sit for a second while they drink their cocktail or a glass of wine, and then I come over with the menus and I start to present them with some specials, because every night, in addition to the menu, we have different specials. Like as for now, we're gonna, for this afternoon, we have a nice fresh tomato, fresh mozzarella cheese, roasted peppers, little grilled zucchini, and eggplant. And also we have as an appetizer, it's a thinly sliced zucchini with thinly sliced Vidalia onions, capers, and vinaigrette dressing. And the specialty is portobello mushroom that's grilled with balsamic vinegar with roasted peppers and fresh buffalo mozzarella cheese melted on top on a bed of arugula. It's fabulous.
What do you think, Susan?
I think Bradley would love that.
I like that little finger here so that we're getting ready to really get into this. I think it sounds delicious.
Right now, you're going to like it. I hope you're going to like it. But. And right over here, this is Leo. Here we have the sliced zucchini with red onions, capers, vinegar dressing, a little fresh basil. And here we have grilled eggplant, grilled zucchini, fresh beefsteak tomatoes, and homemade mozzarella cheese with red onions, capers, and a beautifully prepared vinaigrette dressing with sun-dried tomatoes.
Now tonight you have a special of a steak, you said,
and then
but
we also
there's
have,
always a choice of a fish.
Yes,
or...
we have, and then we have a choice of a pasta. This is the portobello mushroom, which is large mushroom. We grill it with a balsamic vinegar sauce, touch of brown gravy, topped with roasted peppers and fresh mozzarella cheese melted right on top, and it's on a bed of arugula. Wow. And then after that, we have a pasta as an appetizer or as a main course. I mean, this is La Villetta after all.
So we should go work out at Total Fitness really hard, then come over here, and I mean, this wouldn't be that caloric. It's not a problem.
After if you want to have a little pasta in between, the pasta this evening is a beautiful capellini with seafood, frutta di mare. It's an assorted shellfish in a light tomato sauce. For the main course this evening, the chef has a beautiful chef's special. That's a thin sliced steak, grilled with portobello mushrooms, then 2 pieces of jumbo shrimps grilled, and a veal scallopini.
All right, let's put these things down and maybe take a look at it. Well, now comes the tough part, folks. This is a very magnificent plate, and I look forward to it. It's a tough job. Somebody's got to do it. So we're going to take a bite here, and I'm going to send this back to the studio. And Joe, you come join us for something fabulous. Sonny Goldberg, live at La Villetta with Victor and Susan. Just about to enjoy myself enormously.
The LMC news crew noted that the calamari was fresh and especially good, and that the chef's special steak platter was seasoned exactly right. Lavaletta's got lots of parking, too. And that's it for this edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News for the middle of May, 1997. In case you missed any portion of this news show, you can see it again. This program is on Channel 14, LMC-TV, Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Also, you can call LMC-TV and ask to see this week's news show. The number to call is 698-6808 after 4 p.m. The crew at LMC-TV will do their best to put Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News on at a time that's convenient for you. Remember, call 698-6808 after 4 p.m. and ask to see the news show. And those of us who produce this news program are all volunteers. We can always use some help. It's a fun community activity. If you think you might want to join us, drop by when we record this program. That's about every Thursday night. We do the show at the LMC TV studio located in Mamaroneck High School on the Palmer Avenue side, just up the stairs from Walter's Hot Dog Stand. We get things going around 7 p.m. Please send your comments, suggestions, and news items to us at Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, care of LMC TV, 1 Library Lane, Mamaroneck, New York, 10543. Thanks for watching Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Alicia Myro. And I'm Ginny Newmeister. We'll catch you next time.